Yo, what's up? My name is Severman, and in today's video I will be showing you, together with Firaz, how we made our track Made It, which got released last Friday on Jupita. So before we dive into any FLP, let's first of all talk about the story of the track a bit. So Firaz was the one who actually started the track, who came up with the initial idea for the track, like with the melody and the chords and the sort of the layout for the track. And also he was the one approaching Annamarie Rosanio for the vocals. And it was, I think, last November, November last year, when he sent me an early version of the track with the vocals already in. And he just wanted to have some feedback on the track. And I was like, yo, this is a really good track, and I was really convinced by the idea, but it still had a lot of work to do. It was just a rough idea. So I thought, you know what, why not collaborate on this track? I really like the melody of the track, and I really like the vocals. So I was really convinced by the idea, and it had a lot of potential. And this is basically how the collab started. So actually, let's switch over to Firas, who will now show you the first initial version of the track and the first FLP of the track. So let's go.
Hey guys, my name is Firaz, and I'm the second producer who produced a track with Severman called Made It. I'm 21 years old from Glasgow in Scotland, and today I'll be discussing how I created the first version of Made It and how it sounded like before I collabed with Severman, and before how he made the changes to sound like what it is today.
Heard you found somebody to hold on to, but they will never love you like I want to. Used to whisper your mind after I'd start a fight, just to make sure you'd know I'm right. We're not one of a kind, but I just thought we might make it another night.
So yeah, that was the version I had created before we collabed together. You may have noticed that in the second half of the drop, we had a different melody playing. So yeah, this was not used in the final version of the track, as we decided that it didn't really fit, and just kept the main lead melody playing. Also, the other thing that was changed was my version had some pretty simple chords. Yeah, they were just pretty plain and simple, and then Severman added his touch to them to make them sound better. And also, within the intro section in the build, we have this very nice atmospheric kind of almost guitar playing. So yeah, it just plays the same lead melody, and it just adds a nice atmosphere to the track. When I had sent this track for feedback to Severman, he had said that the break was somewhat sounding empty, and I had to agree with him. But it was one of the things I was kind of struggling with, really. And this is what it sounded like before.
Thought I saw you hanging at our old place, and she seems lovely. Wonder if she knows me, and how I'd whisper your mind after I'd start a fight, just to make sure you'd know I'm right. We're not one of a kind, but I just thought we might make it another night.
So yeah, it sounded very empty, and not much was really going on apart from the chords, the bass line, the vocals, as well as the guitar melody lead and a kick, filtered kick. And in the final version, you can hear that it sounds much more fuller and not just very empty like this version. Yeah, so now I'll pass you on to Severman, who can discuss his final FLP.
Thanks Firas for showing like the early version of the track. So as you can tell, the idea of the track was already there. However, like production wise, there was still quite a lot of room for improvement, and that was basically the point where like I came in. So this was basically the version that he sent over to me, and that was the point where I started working on the track. So let's dive into the final FLP and let's go. So this is now how my like the final FLP looks, and it's a little bit different. However, like the stuff is pretty much still the same. Like you saw all of these sounds already in his FLP. Like the only difference is obviously like the stuff that I added to it, but also that we bounce out some of the stuff that he had in. For example, like I don't have contact, and that's why we bounce out the piano, for example. Like this is the stem for the piano. Yeah, we have like some other sounds bounce out, like the drop chords that you can see here, and the guitar that he already showed you. But yeah, let's start with the track. Like let's start with the things that I added. So let's just start with the break. I think that makes sense. So yeah, he already showed you the piano. This was like from Contact. And let me maybe show you like the processing of it. So basically there's just one EQ on here. And what I felt like was missing a bit that nice body to make it sound really thick and like big, warm and stuff. Like, because there wasn't, or like there isn't actually still a lot of elements in the break. Like we really wanted to go for a chill, not very full break in order to have that contrast to the drop, because the drop is very loud in your face, and then we have these quiet, emotional, like the drop's also emotional, but quiet and very chill breaks. And in order to really fill out the breaks, I basically boosted the bass of the piano a bit. And what I did then is I layered another piano to it, but like it's not playing chords, it's only playing one note on each chord, adding more emotion to the chords. So the one that I added sounds like that. So this is just a basic Nexus piano, so it's the first piano from the piano bank. And together with the piano that Firaz already added, it sounds like that. Again, without mine, it sounds like that. So the one I added helps to emphasize this emotional vibe that we were going for, and it also helps to make the break a bit more full. Then let's check out the other stuff that I added. So here we have some, what is it, like some girl voice type of ambient sound, which I use in a lot of my tracks. Then we got another one of these sounds. So with both of these, I'm basically just using a low pass filter in order to like get rid of the higher frequencies, because I only wanted to have this nice lower mid frequencies in this, because I didn't want to have it interfere too much with the vocals. And then we also added some kind of vinyl crackling noise from the Cashmere pack, and this one really helps to also make the break sound more full, but it also adds this type of vintage sound or vibe to the track. I don't know, I really liked it. Like, it's very quiet, very much in the background, but it still helps to add those last 5% to the breaks. And then we have some FX sounds right here, like that one. Some kind of low impact sound. And that was kind of like the pre part, and then we basically drop into the vocal.
Heard you found somebody to hold on to, but they will never love you like I want to.
So this right here is what the vocal solely sounds like.
Heard you found somebody to hold on to, but they will never love you like I want to.
Firaz already did some processing on that one, and I really like what he did. But I think I added like just a few more plugins on it. So we have some like very detailed EQing, and just felt like boosting the highs a little bit made it sound like clearer and made it pop out a bit out of the mix. And then I just added another high and low cut, just to like be safe that it doesn't have any like low rumble, for instance. And then I added this Maximus right here. I'm not really sure what this one's doing. Like, I just messed around a bit with the knobs right here. Like, I added 4 dBs of like pre-gain, and then I reduced 4 dBs post-gain, but then I adjusted a bit the saturation. So not really sure either what I did there, so let's just continue with the next one. So this one is the multiband compressor from Ozone 5, and basically the type of multiband compression, like I just use that one for the higher frequencies in order to get rid of those nasty S sounds. Like, it's basically a de-esser, you can say, but just like doing it a tiny bit, like not like a whole lot. And then I added like a tiny bit of compression, like really just a tiny bit, as well as some tiny bit more EQing. And then we have the balance for volume automation. And also, as you can tell, reverb and delay was already on it, so I really like that. And then at this point I also added another pattern or another layer for the chords. So these are basically strings from the Flex plugin, which I like to use a lot in my tracks. And also, as you can tell, this one has a filter on it to only have like these lower mid frequencies in order to not have a clash with the vocal. And these strings also help to just fill up the break a little bit and make it sound, more full, basically.
Heard you found, used to whisper your mind after I'd start a fight just to make sure you'd know I'm right. We're not one.
And then also we have like another atmosphere ambient sound over here. Just kind of playing this one note, also adding some stuff into like the background of the track.
One of a kind, but I just thought we might make it another night.
RIP CPU. So at this point we're basically dropping into the, like, whatever you want to call it, hands up breakdown part, where like the energy starts to build a bit. And like, what's kind of a major difference to Firaz' previous version is that I added 8 bars in the breaks in order to take more time for the track to build up, because I felt like with the arrangement that Firaz had before, it didn't really had time to properly build tension in the break or in the build up. And that's why I decided to add another 8 bars in the break, or for the build up, whatever you want to call it, like, you know, before the drop basically. Then yeah, we have like a downlifter sound here. Then we have some more risers. A kick drum as well. So these are like the build-up drums. Then we have more effect sounds over here. So these really help to make the transition sound really nice, and also to build the tension in the track. Then here we have an ARP. So this one is from Nexus. It's this one right here. Then we have another ambient sound. Then we have some more sounds, just check these out. Again, these are like just a lot of effect sounds layered together that really help to build the tension in the track and to make the transition smooth. Then here we have the drop chords. They're basically being introduced with a low pass filter, which is opening up. Then we have the bass line right here. So I will show you the layers in the drop, and then we're also introducing the leads in the build up and the break. Then I have one more riser right here. And this one is, I think it's just a preset from Spyro, I believe. Yeah, like it's just this FX lift up preset from Spyro that I used. And that's pretty much it with the break and the build up already, I believe. So yeah, let's move on with the drop. Also with the drop, Firaz basically like layered all the sounds, like he was the one layering the leads, the bass line, etc. I mainly just mixed and yeah, like mastered the drop, and I added also like in the break I added some more sounds to it, but like the main sounds were already done by Firaz. So I have the leads, as I already explained in the beginning, bounced out, and solely these sound like that. However, I still added some more leads to it, which I have in this pattern right here, and these sound like that. And both together sound like that, so this is like the full lead sound as it is now. So yeah, let's have a look at the processing for the leads. So here we have some EQing again, boosting 310 Hz a bit, giving the leads some more body. At the same time, I'm basically reducing the 600 Hz a bit, so it's like an octave above that frequency, which I boosted before. Yeah, I just felt like it had too much of that, giving the leads a cleaner sound, because like before it was kind of resonating a bit around this area. And then I also boosted the highs in the leads a bit. Then we have a stereo enhancer, making the leads just a tiny bit more wide or wider. then Fruity P controller with the reverb. And yeah, with the reverb in this case, I have the low cut set to 1 kHz. High cut is set to 10 kHz. Then we have the decay time set to 3.5 seconds. And yeah, that's pretty much it with the reverb. Then we have balance for volume automation and the sidechain. The things like the leads that Firaz bounced out already had sidechain on them, so I didn't need to do like the usual sidechain. Yeah, but that's then with the processing for the lead. Then let's head over to the bass line. This one solely sounds like that. So yeah, let's check out the layers for the bass line. So we have that one right here. So these are like some spire sounds layered. Then we have another pattern, and in this one I have the sub bass. As you can see, for the sub bass, I just used the 3X oscillator from FL Studio, and yeah, for the processing, we have nothing on the sub actually. Like this one isn't used, the max bass, only the sidechain, like with the gross beat. And then for the mid basses, I have them going into 3 separate channels, but then they're all routed to this channel 5 right here. So like some are routed to this channel 7, some are routed to channel 6, and a few are routed to channel 5, but channel 6 and 7 are also routed to channel 5. Like it's a bit complicated and messy, like it's not the way I would recommend doing it, but yeah, that's just the way we did it in this project. So like on the bass channel, we have some EQing again, like that, boosting highs, taking out the low mids a bit. With the low mids, sometimes they can, like often they tend to have a sort of muddy sound, so reducing them a bit helps to create a cleaner sound a bit. Then we have low and high cut again, then we didn't use that one. Some filter automation right here and sidechain again. So then let's check out the second channel. So on here we only have Fruity Balance, the Camel Crusher is muted. And then on this one we have just some more EQing. Then we have the chords again. So on these, again, we have some EQing, so, you know, it's very individual, like that's the type of EQing we went for this sound or for these chords. Then we have a little bit of OTT to compress them a bit, and then some sound quantizer also to compress them, some more EQing, a stereo enhancer to make them less wide actually, because I felt like they were too wide, and a filter for automation. Then we have piano chords as well. So also on here just some EQing, taking out the lows. Then let's check out the drums. So also compared to the previous version by Firaz, what I did, I exchanged the kick drum. I took like my kick drum, the one that I use in most of my tracks. And yeah, so the drums, they sound like that. So yeah, we also have like the guitar and the ARP, etc., like the ambient sounds that I already showed you, that we use in the break already. So we also have them in the drop right here. Then in the second half, I'm adding this snare right here. I think it helps to give the drop a bit more of a aggressive character. I don't know, I really liked adding a snare to it instead of a clap, which is the more traditional way. And then again we have like this voice sound that I also already showed you. And some more downlifters and crashes. And then I also added this weird sound. It's also like more in the background, but I feel like it also has to add more energy to it. It's a type of sound that you don't really hear in the mix, but it really helps to add like 5% more to the drop and to make it sound really full and finished. And that's pretty much everything about the drop. So let's put everything back together again. Yeah, then going into the second break, we have like 8 bars of just instrumental, like just playing the melody again with the guitar, having no vocals in there. I think it helps to create a nice transition to the vocal again. And also we did this sort of downlifter effect or whatever with the leads, or like what this is like what Firaz did. It creates a really nice transition into the breakdown. I really like that. And then we have some more like downlifter sounds again. And yeah, like the rest of the sounds are all the sounds from the first break, so there's nothing really new at this point. At this point, the difference to the first break is that we already have like a kick drum coming in, so it really helps to sort of keep the flow or the vibe of the track going. Like it's not aggressive or like much in the foreground, it's also just more in the background, just, you know, helping to kind of keep the vibe up.
And how I'd whisper your mind after I'd start a fight just to make sure you get another night. And I know we're not made for this.
Then this part is a bit different again to the first break, because I have the strings opening up fully. Then I also added a vocoder to the vocal. It's also really just in the background, so check this out.
I know we're not made for.
So how I made this vocoder, I can show you that. So basically I set up a pattern of chords, and I used for the chords I used a silent 1, and this is just a basic saw wave that I have right here. And the special part now is that I have this one routed to channel 50, and this one is routed again to another channel. And on here I have the vocodex, which is like the vocoder plugin from FL Studio, and I also have the vocals routed to that vocoder channel. And yeah, with the vocoder I'm basically combining the synth with the vocals, creating this vocoder effect. And then it's just about kind of messing a bit with the settings in here, like until it sounds good basically. And then we have some EQing right here to get rid of the high frequencies because they sound quite harsh with most vocoders, and this one was meant to be in the background. Then yeah, some more EQing, dipping out these 620 Hz. And that's basically how I set up this vocoder. And at this part I also dropped out the guitar actually, like the the melody, because I felt like also this helped to create more variation in the track and also more tension, I felt like. And then we're dropping again into the build-up, which is kind of the same as like the first build-up. Only difference is I think I looped up the vocals. I have like every second of these panned to the left, and then the other one's panned to the right a bit, like for, what is it, 25%. And then I'm basically fading these out using a low pass filter and also using some reverb, like the dry level is basically going like it's being reduced. And that's pretty much it with the build up, I would say. Also with the second drop, it's like pretty much the same as the first drop. There are no new sounds, so we already talked about everything at this point. Let me maybe show you the mastering, because that's also something that a lot of people ask me about in my like making of videos. So the first plugin on here is a Fruity Balance, just to automate the volume. So what I always do is like I create a fade out at the end, so that the track is really fading out smooth at the end. And then like what you also can do is like that you reduce the volume a little bit in the build up before the drop. Then we have some endless smile, creating also some more tension, and it's a type of washed out effect before the drop. Then we have this Ozone 5, which is basically a high cut at 16 kHz. I didn't low cut this one because like a lot of people say also like, you know, put a low cut on it, on your track, or like also on your kick drum or whatever. But actually you need to be careful with that, because you can easily mess up your phase with that. Like let's say you have a kick drum with a certain length and you mix that with your sub, and then when you master it you put an EQ like with a low cut. What can happen is that the kick becomes longer, and also the sub, that kind of like the tail gets longer, and then you have like weird stuff going on, like weird interference in the lower frequencies, causing to basically remove some of the sub information in the track, which you don't really want. So I didn't low cut this track. So the next up we have Sausage Fattener, and I use this one as a limiter. Like it sounds a bit ironic, but like it's no joke. I really use that one as a limiter, because if you just throw it on your master, it will automatically limit your track at -0.1 decibels, and I think it does that in a really nice way. Then we have like as a last effect the Isotope Ozone 5. In this case I used two limiters, as you can tell, like with the Sausage Fattener and the Ozone 5 two limiters. Usually I only use the Sausage Fattener, but that's pretty much it with the track. So also thanks to Firaz for recording like a little part of this video. And I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like the track. And by the way, you can also support me now on Patreon. In return, you'll get access to all of my FLPs, professional in-depth feedback on your music, and coaching sessions. So if that's interesting for you, make sure to check out the second link in the description. That's it with this video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.